I noticed on my street these small brass plaques memorializing victims of the Nazis called Stolpersteine, or stumbling stones. And I became curious, did anybody live in my house? I presumed that this data would be easily available and quite easy to find out, but then was quite disappointed. As it turns out, if one of these people lived in your house in Berlin, the chances are only about 1% that there will be a Stolperstein for this person in front of your house. For the other 99% of the places where the victims of the Nazis lived in Berlin, the only place I could find to look was the Berlin Memorial Book. So I got a copy of this book. It's like this, 50,000 names, 1,500 pages, alphabetized by last name, and started looking through there, trying to find my home address. And after several hours of feeling like I'm going to go blind soon, it's like the heaviest telephone book ever, I decided this is ridiculous. It's going to be much easier just to digitize this. So I had it scanned, text recognition software, and imported the data into a database software. The first time that I alphabetized this data by street instead of last name, it was like one of these eureka cartoon moments where the light bulb goes on above the guy's head, because I realized that these people, instead of being scattered over a dozen pages of a memorial book, became grouped together by relationship, by family structures. That came to the forefront. Here you see a listing for Metzerstraße in Berlin-Prenzlauer Berg. Metzerstraße 19, 5 people named Kompart. Here you see Louis and Olga Kompart, an elderly couple who in September of 1942 were deported to Theresienstadt ghetto. 1 month later, in October of 1942, their son, Friedrich Karl, and his wife, Ruth, born Stadthagen, committed suicide together, leaving behind their infant child, Uri Kompart. By looking at the deportation lists, I was able to determine that the Uri Kompart, the orphan, was, together with his grandparents, Solomon and Benvenita Stadthagen, deported 8 months later to Theresienstadt ghetto and then to Auschwitz. By creatively rearranging this cold data, it's possible to extract a narrative continuity, a living story from the lifeless lists of a standard memorial book. Enough, this is Berlin. Let's come back to Vienna. Maybe go out of the theater a little bit here. When you leave the theater and take a left in Neustiftgasse and walk down 6 or 8 blocks, at the light, take a left at Neubaugasse. You'll go about a block or so, and there's a large yellow 70 number sticking out of the side of a building, and that's Neubaugasse 70. In this house, the businessman Ferdinand Huppert lived with his family in apartment number 13, where he ran in the ground floor a shop for radios. He died in early 1941 and was buried in the central Vienna cemetery due to lack of medical care. And it turns out that the sole reason that he died of this was because of the fact that he happened to be Jewish.